Hi, welcome to this standing yoga sequence. So today's class will be completely standing. You don't need any props unless you have tight hamstrings, and you might like to use a couple of blocks or a couple of books or anything just to support your hands in a couple of forward folds that we're doing. But they're completely optional. You can grab those if you like. Today's class will be following a Vinyasa style class. That said, it's standing, so there won't be any chaturangas or downwards dogs. But Vinyasa, we basically move breath to movement. If you're new to yoga or Vinyasa style, then this might seem a little bit overwhelming to begin with. Just don't worry about the breath, just follow your natural breath. As long as you keep breathing, that's the main thing. And slowly, as you practice more and more, you get more used to moving breath to movement in that Vinyasa style. Finally, with this class, yoga should never be painful, so if you do feel any pain at all, please just slowly ease out of the pose. Yoga can be challenging, but yeah, you should never feel any pain or tingling in any of the poses. Just make sure you're listening to your body. So we'll be starting standing with our feet about hip distance apart, arms down by our side. This first part, you might like to soften the gaze, maybe close the eyes, just resting the eyes on a spot that doesn't move, letting the arms just relax down by the side. And we'll just start by taking a few deep breaths. Just easing into the practice today. And then we'll start scanning down the body, just checking in with how the body's feeling today, starting at the crown of the head and scanning downwards. Maybe noticing any tension or tightness that you feel in the body, any other sensations in the body today. And just observing these sensations without judgment. Just noticing as you make your way down, all the way to the toes. And then when you arrive at the toes, just bring your attention back to the breath. Just watching as the breath flows in and out of the body. And now we'll start to make some movements, moving with the breath, drawing the shoulders up towards the ears on the inhale. And on the exhale, just roll them down the back. We'll do that a few more times. So inhaling to draw the shoulders up towards the ears. And exhale, roll them down the back. Last time, inhaling. And exhaling. And we'll move on to a few neck stretches. So this is great if you've been sat down in front of a computer all day, maybe hunching over. So we'll just start by bringing the chin towards the chest and then just drawing a few half circles with the nose, stretching through the back of the neck. Getting some movement there. And then bringing the chin back to centre and bringing the gaze up. And then we'll send the gaze over the right shoulder and back to centre, over the left shoulder. Back to centre, back over towards the right, back to centre and to the left, back to centre. And then from here we'll drop the right ear over the right shoulder, maybe staying here, maybe placing the fingers on the side of the head, just letting gravity deepen you into the pose. Either staying here, if you want to take it further, maybe sending the left fingertips out towards the left side, starting to draw the fingertips in towards the body. Now while you're here, just make sure you're trying to keep a nice straight spine, so we're not rounding forward at all. And just breathing into the pose. And then supporting the head, going back up to center. We'll take that on the opposite side. So left ear over the left shoulder. Staying here, replacing the fingertips on the side of the head, just resting them there, deepening into the pose. And then maybe sending the right fingertips out towards the side and maybe flexing those fingers in. Nice deep breaths here. And then supporting the hair, going back up to center. So now we'll move through a bit of a warm-up flow. This will really start to get the spine moving, the hips moving, waking up the legs a little bit. You can stand at the front of the mat if you like, keeping the feet about hip distance apart. We'll run through the first one quite slowly, and then we'll do a couple more rounds, just trying to work breath to movement. Again, if you get lost, don't worry about it, just go at your own pace with your natural breath. So when you're ready, on the inhale, we'll sweep the arms out and around and up. Gaze can be up if it feels okay for the neck. Drawing the navel in, keeping the ribs in so they're not flaring out at all. And on the exhale, bring the arms out nice and wide, clasping the hands behind you, so interlacing the fingers. You can either have the hands quite relaxed and open, or you can start to draw the palms together, starting to open up through the chest. Gaze can be up. And then on the exhale, start to hinge forward at the hips, bringing the chest down. You can keep a bend in the knees, so keeping the back nice and straight, so bring the arms up and overhead, and relax the head down. Breathing here. And then releasing the arms, letting them dangle. So you can just let them dangle. You can take opposite arms to opposite elbows for this first forward fold. And maybe just gently starting to rock side to side, straightening and bending one leg at a time. So we're starting to wake up the hamstrings and get some movement in the hips. Maybe gently shaking out the head, yes and no. And then releasing the arms down. You can either have the fingertips on the floor. This is where if you've got tight hamstrings, you might want to use your blocks or books to support you. And then bringing your hands up towards your shins or on the fingertips, coming up for a flat back position, moving on the inhale. And then exhale, forward fold. Again, slight bend in the knees, or bending them as much as you need to keep that back nice and straight. You can start to work towards straight legs, but only if you're keeping that nice straight back. And then on the inhale, we'll start to roll up, bringing your chin in towards the chest, rolling up one vertebrae at a time, bringing the head up last, rolling the shoulders down and back. And then sweeping the arms up. Gaze can be up. From here, we'll send the left hand forward, right hand back. Keeping the gaze forward, hips are square to the front of the mat. So moving into a twist, but twisting the upper body. And then inhale, bringing both arms up. Exhale, left hand back, right arm forward, gaze forward. Keeping those hips nice and square. Inhale, both arms up, and then exhale, cactus in the arms, so palms forward, bringing the shoulder blades together, so starting to really wake up the rhomboids in between the shoulder blades, and the arms out nice and wide, and then inhale to reach up, and exhale to release the arms down by the side. So that's us going through it quite slowly. We'll do that a couple more times, but we'll maybe speed up a little bit, trying to move breath to movement. So just keeping your feet hip distance apart on the inhale, reaching the arms up. Exhale, bringing the arms behind you, interlacing the hands, start to draw the hands down. Exhale to hinge forward at the hips, bring the head down, arms up overhead. Inhale to release the arms down. Staying here for a breath. And then inhale, bring the hands to the shins, coming up for a flat back position. Exhale, fold. Inhale, chin to chest, rolling up, bringing the head up last. On the exhale, rolling the shoulders down the back. And then on the inhale, reaching the arms up, gaze is up. Exhale, left arm forward, right arm back for a twist. Inhale to center. Exhale, left hand back, right hand forward for a twist on the opposite side. Inhale, back up. Exhale, cactus in the arms, nice and wide. Inhale, reaching the arms back up. And exhale, bringing the arms back down by the side. So we'll do that one more time. So on the next inhale, reaching the arms up, gaze is up. Exhale, bring the arms behind us, interlacing the fingers, drawing the hands down the back. Exhale, hinging forward at the hips. Inhale to release the arms down, holding it here for the exhale. And on the next inhale, bring the hands to the shins, coming up for a flat back position. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, chin to chest, rolling up. On the exhale, drawing the shoulders down the back. Inhale, bring the arms out nice and wide, gaze is up. Exhale, left arm forward, right hand back, gaze is forward. Inhale, both arms back up. Exhale, left hand back, right hand forward, gaze is forward. Inhale, back up. Exhale, bring the arms out nice and wide, drawing the shoulder blades together. And inhale, coming back up. And exhale, bringing the arms down by the side. So now we'll move on to the standing sequence. So coming to the front of the mat, you just want to make sure you've got about this much space behind you so you can step backwards. And just feet about hip distance apart, arms down by the side. We'll start with the left leg. So on the next inhale, we'll just step the left leg behind us, coming onto the ball of the left foot. Bring our hands to our hips, just check our hips are in line. So drawing that left hip forward, right hip back. And when we're happy with the position of the hips, we can reach the arms out and around. Gaze can be up for our high lunge position. Just holding it here for around a breath. And then moving into a side stretch with the left hand, we'll take the right wrist, inhale to lengthen, and then exhale, just slowly dropping over towards the left side, getting a stretch down the right side of the body. Inhale to center, switching the grip of the wrists, and then dropping over to the opposite side on the exhale. And inhale, back up to center. On the next exhale, dropping the back heel down, toes are pointing out about 45 degrees, starting to open up towards the left side. Bringing the arms out to the shoulder height, palms facing down, giving the bend in the front knees and maybe readjusting the legs if you need to, making sure that the front knees stacked over the ankle and gazes out over those front fingertips. Holding it here. Now warrior two position. Flipping the front hand so it's facing up, dropping the back hand down. On the next inhale, we'll just sweep the front arm up and over so the palms facing down. Gaze can be up. Keeping that bend in the front knee for a reverse warrior. And then inhale, coming back up for our warrior two. Gaze is forward. Hinge forward at the hips. Bring the front arm so the forearms resting on top of the thigh. And sweep that back arm up. Either the fingertips can face the ceiling, or you can rotate the palm forward and just bring that arm up and over. And while you're here, notice whether you're rolling forward at all and just see whether you can really open up the chest, so keeping the shoulders stacked. And of course, if you feel any tingling at all, you can always bring the hand back down to the waist and work in here. You're still getting the opening in the chest, still getting the opening in the hips. Then inhale, coming back up for warrior two. And from here, we'll rotate the feet so they're pointing towards the side edge of the mat. Just readjusting your stance if you need to. And then we'll just bring the heels in slightly so both feet are pointing out about 45 degrees each way. And then we'll bring the arms out, moving into a 5-pointed star, stretching through the fingers, creating space between each finger. And on the exhale, start to squat down, keeping the tailbone tucked back nice and straight. Knees should be tracking over the toes. And bring the arms out to cactus for our goddess pose. Holding it here. Inhale, come back into 5-pointed star, straight through, straightening the legs, straightening the arms. Exhale to goddess pose. Inhale, 5-pointed star. Exhale, goddess. Inhale, 5-pointed star. This time bring the hands to the hips. Rotate the toes so they're pointing forward, the toes in line with the ankles. And from here, we want to start hinging forward at the hips, keeping the back nice and straight. Come down until the torso parallel to the floor. And then holding it here for the inhale. And then exhale, forward folding, maybe bending the knees if you like, and just dropping the hands down towards the floor. So this is where if you've got a block, if you've got tight hamstrings, your block might come in handy just to support the hands if you need. From here, we'll bring the left hand so it's in front of the face, and on the next inhale, just reaching the right arm up, gazes up. Exhale, release the hand back down. Switch the position of the hand, and on the next inhale, reaching the left arm up, gazes up. Exhale, releasing the hands back down. Bring the hands to the hips. Start to really pull the navel in, coming up with a nice flat back. Great. From here, rotate the right toes so they're pointing forward. Just pivot the left toes in. We want to shorten the stance here, bringing the hips so they're parallel to the front of the mat if you're using a mat. And we'll be moving into pyramid pose from here. So start to straighten through that front leg, hinging at the hips, bringing the torso forward until the torso is in line with the mat. Holding it here for the inhale. And on the exhale, if you like, you can either stay here or you can continue to hinge forward, maybe releasing the arms down either to the floor, to the shin, or you can keep them on the hips. This is a really great stretch for the hamstring. And then on the next inhale, just making your way back up. Moving on to the heel of the ball of the back foot, back in our high lunge position. And then start to bring the weight forward into that front leg, pull the navel in, see if you can pick up the left leg and bring it forward, out in front of you, bending at the knee. Now while you're here, notice whether you're starting to drop into the right leg, so if you can really engage the outer hip muscles, the gluteus medius muscle. And then bring in the right hand to the outside of the left knee. Start to twist over towards the left. You can either stay here or you can send the left arm out behind you. Maybe even sending the gaze towards the thumb. Staying here, or if you want to test your balance a little bit more, you can start to bring the right hand down, maybe bringing it to the outside of the foot and straightening that leg out. Or you can keep it on the outside of the leg and just work here. Trying to keep the back nice and straight. And wherever you are, if you fall out of the pose or if you wobble a bit, no worries, you can make your way back in. And any wobbling is just working the muscles around the ankles, strengthening the ankle, strengthening the calf muscles. And when you're ready to come out of it, bending that knee, releasing the foot, unwinding, and coming back to our mountain pose, Tadasana. The pose that we started in today. And we'll just take a few deep breaths here. Preparing for the other side. So you know where we're going this time. We'll be working with the right leg, and when you're ready, just stepping back with the right leg and onto the ball of the right foot. Hips are forward. So drawing that left hip back, right hip forward. And when you're ready, inhaling, reaching the arms up. Gaze can be up. Holding it here for a breath. And then moving into a side stretch, taking the right hand or the right wrist with the left hand. And on the next exhale, just dropping over towards the left side, stretching through the right. Inhale back up to center, switching the grip of the wrists. And on the next exhale, we'll just send it over to the opposite side. Inhale, coming back up to center. And then on the next exhale, dropping the back heel down, start opening up towards the right side. Bring the arms down, so there, shoulder distance, palms facing down, gaze is forward, knees stacked over the front ankle. And holding it here in our warrior two. Nice deep breaths. And rotate the front palm so it's facing up, drop the back hand down the leg. Sweep that front arm up and over, keeping the bend in the front knee for a reverse warrior. Inhale, making our way back up to warrior two. From here, hinging forward at the hip, bring the front arm down to the top of the leg, sweep the right arm up, fingertips either up, rotate that palm forward and just bringing it up and over. Nice deep breaths here. Inhale to come back up to warrior two, gazes forward. And from here we'll rotate the feet so they're facing the long edge of the mat again. And we'll just pivot the heels in so the feet are out about 45 degrees again. And we'll move back into our 5-pointed staff, stretching through the fingers, keeping the navel drawing in so the ribs aren't flaring out, so we're not coming into a back bend here. We want to keep everything nice and engaged, nice strong core. And then from here, starting to squat down into our goddess pose, making sure our knees are tracking in line with our toes, keeping the pelvis tucked in. And this time we'll bring the thumbs to the inside of the legs. And we'll just dip the right shoulder in towards the left knee. Inhale, coming back up. And exhale, dipping the left shoulder towards the right knee. Inhale, coming back up. Holding it here. And then straighten the legs, straighten the arms, 5-pointed star. And then releasing the arms down. We'll send the toes so they're forward, so behind the ankles this time. And bring the hands back to the hips. We'll move into our wide leg forward fold. So drawing the navel in, hinging at the hips, keeping the back nice and straight. Coming down until the torso is parallel to the floor. Holding it here for the inhale. And then on the exhale, continuing to forward fold, releasing the head, releasing the arms down towards the floor. Maybe using your block to support the hands if you like. And this time we'll just walk the hands over towards the left ankle. It's just the direction we're moving in, so if you don't quite reach it, that's perfectly fine. If you can reach it, you might want to take your hands around the ankle, maybe around the thigh, maybe around the calf, just wherever you can reach. Just holding it here. And then walking the hands back to centre. And then we'll walk them over to the opposite ankle or calf. Maybe just working on the floor. We're just working in that direction. You can keep the head relaxed down if you like. And then walk in the hands back to centre. Bring the hands out in front of you now. Just holding it here. And then coming onto the fingertips, bring the hands to the hips, engage the core, really engage your legs, pushing up, making our way back up to standing. You might feel a little dizzy here, that's perfectly normal, just letting the blood return. Taking a few nice deep breaths. And we'll pivot the left toes so they're facing at the front edge of the mat again, and pivot the right toes in, and we'll just step that back foot in slightly, so shortening the stance. We want the hips so they're facing forward. Some people find it better to step the foot out so we're more in a tripod position. You see what's good for you here. And we'll move back into our pyramid pose on the other side, so start to straighten through that left leg, pulling the navel in. And on the exhale, just hinging at the hips, coming forward. And we'll just come down so the torso is in line with the floor, parallel to the floor. Holding it here for the inhale. And on the exhale, if you want to continue, you can continue to forward fold. Keeping a slight bend in that knee, maybe releasing the hands down towards the floor. Maybe bring in the hands or together, interlacing the fingers with the index finger pointing forward, releasing the head down. So this is our full pyramid pose. Inhale, drawing the navel up, coming back up to standing. We'll move back into our higher lunge, so bending through the front knee, stepping the back foot back, come onto the ball of that back foot again, so just readjusting yourself as you need. And then from here, we'll start to bring the weight into that front leg, pull the navel in, so if you can lift the back leg up, and bring it forward in front of you with control. And we'll move into that balancing pose once again. So bringing the left hand to the outside of the right knee. Starting to twist over towards the right. If you need a chair to hold on to or anything like that, then that's perfectly fine as well. And then maybe bring in the right hand out behind us, palm facing towards the right. Maybe sending the gaze towards that back thumb. Staying here, or if you like, maybe taking the outside of the right foot and starting to send that leg out straight, trying to keep the back nice and straight. Just working with where you are today. I'm a bit tighter on this side. And you can have the hand on the outside of the leg, or you can just keep the leg bent. And when you're ready to come out of it, just unwinding, releasing the leg down. And bringing the feet so they're hip distance apart once again, arms down by the side. Just taking a moment here in our Tadasana, our mountain pose. A few nice deep breaths. And we'll just take a couple of ankle stretches now. We haven't done much for the ankle, and as it's a standing class, we have been on our feet for the whole half an hour. So we'll just bring the left foot behind us, coming onto the front of the foot, stretching through the front of the left foot. Maybe bringing the hands and the hips if that helps with the balance. A few deep breaths here. And then coming onto the ball of the foot, maybe taking a couple of circles in one direction and then the opposite direction. And then stepping that foot in, taking it to the other side, so coming on to the front of the right foot this time, stretching through the front of that foot. And then moving on to the ball of the foot, just taking a couple of circles in one direction. And then the opposite direction. And stepping that foot in. And finally, because we've done a bit for the legs, and if you're new to this practice, you might feel it a little bit in the legs and the glutes, we'll just bring the left foot in front of us, the left leg in front of us, take hold of the ankle, and just bring that foot behind us. It's getting a stretch in the quad. We want to try and keep our hips so they're facing forward and start to push through the hips, so getting a stretch in the quad. If you've got a wall or something to hold on to, maybe a chair, then you can use that here. Or you can just bring the right hand to the hip to help with the balance, resting the gaze on something that doesn't move. Taking a few nice deep breaths here. And releasing that left foot. From there, we'll bring that left foot forward and cross the ankle over the right knee and start to squat down. So we're moving into a bit of a figure 4 position, stretching through the piriformis and the outer hip muscles. You might like to bring the hands to prayer to help with this, and maybe squatting down here. Maybe even bring the hands down to the legs, and just see where you are today. The main thing is trying to get a bit of a stretch in the outer hip muscles. And then inhale, release, coming up, just shaking it out a little bit. And we'll quickly just take that on the other side. So again, bringing the right leg in front of us, taking the ankle, bringing it behind us, moving into that quad stretch by pushing the hips forward, those hips in line. Maybe bringing the left hand to the hip. And nice deep breaths here. And releasing that foot, bringing it in front of us, crossing the right ankle over the left leg this time, starting to squat down, moving into the standing figure 4, maybe bringing the hands to prayer, and just taking a few deep breaths here. Keeping the left toes pointing in towards the right knee, so to protect that knee. And inhale, coming back up, releasing the legs, give a little shake out. And we'll just end the practice with the arms down by the side. So usually we would have a shavasana, so this would be a bit like a standing shavasana. Just feet hip distance apart, arms resting down by the side. Maybe closing the eyes, maybe softening the gaze, resting the eyes on something that doesn't move. And we'll just take a few deep breaths here. And just like we started, we'll start to scan down the body, starting at the crown of the head, moving downwards, noticing any sensations in the body, noticing the absence of any sensations in the body, and just noticing how these sensations may have changed before, during, and after the practice. And just making your way all the way down to the toes. Again, observing without judgment. And then when you arrive at the toes, just bringing the focus back to the breath. Just watching the breath enter and exit the body. And then just starting to bring your attention to any sounds around you. Maybe the sound of your own breath. Maybe the sound of the neighbours, the cat, the dog, the children. And slowly, when you're ready, you can start to make some small movements, maybe bringing the hands up and overhead, stretching through the fingers for full body stretch. And releasing the arms down, gently opening the eyes if you've got them closed. And that brings us to the end of this practice today. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you again soon.